Welcome to the Modern Cloister, where we cultivate deeper thinkers and worshipers through conversations about the Christian life, in the same spirit as the conversations that took place during the Reformation at the Black Cloister, the former monastery and home of Martin Luther and his wife, Katharina von Bora. I'm Carissa, and I'm here with Kevin, and we are excited to be celebrating today the one-year anniversary of the Modern Cloister. We released our first episode in March of 2021, and it's been a lot of fun. But first and foremost, we want to thank all of you, our listeners who have been joining us for this journey. It's been so amazing to have you listen, to have you be part of the conversations we're having, and in particular, to hear feedback. We have really loved hearing from a lot of you over the past month, in particular, as we've been gearing up for this, and the whole year in general, as we've been just, releasing episodes and series and trying out different things. Hearing from you on what you've liked, what you have found interesting has been really, really cool. And so we thank you so, so much. We thought what would be fun today. We've had a lot of fun, and we've enjoyed a lot of this, doing this together. And so we thought it'd be fun to just share some of those stories. So let's just jump in. Over to you, Kevin. What are some of the things that you've enjoyed about this year and this whole process?
I think the most fun about this has got to be our whiteboarding, which if you follow us on, maybe, I don't know if I've ever posted anything. If you follow Carissa, she's definitely posted our whiteboarding. So just give you a little background on how we do things. We kind of just come up with broad topic ideas, which is really how this whole thing started. I think we probably said that in our intro one from last year, is that it started with an idea of doing Psalms. So we have a Psalms idea, and then essentially we buy a bunch of books, read them, get ideas, scholarly, pastorally, biblical studies otherwise, read all the Psalms themselves. Then the first thing we need to do is actually figure out how we're going to divide out the series. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of whiteboarding right now, different ways you could break them up. And then we kind of get our basis for that. And that was a 5-part series.
6.
And so then we erase all that, lay it out.
Take some pictures to record it for later.
And for that sweet social media hit.
Yeah.
and then go back through, kind of continuing the whiteboard process of kind of not scripting, but laying out each episode, its flow, how we're going to do everything. Mm-hmm. And that's really a lot of fun. One reason is we twice go to the little house, tiny house, little road?
I don't know if it was a full twice, but definitely was that one time for sure.
Yeah.
That might have been twice.
An overnight trip once. I think we went one afternoon or morning or something. So that was a lot of fun. They could be a sponsor, but they're no longer renting the house. So that was our plug for them that no longer exist. Nailed it. Call us if you want ad spots. So I'd say that's the most fun is getting things prepped. That's where we're probably the most collaborative and most discussion, and that really, that goes on for hours and hours.
It really does, yeah. I think that's definitely one of my most enjoyable moments, multiple moments really, from the past year doing this, and really actually a year and a half and planning to even launch it initially. Some of these discussions went back to fall of 2020. So I think that's definitely, I would echo that as far as the whiteboarding goes.
The most best part is that. What's the least fun for you?
The least fun is probably the editing process, but it's also
that makes sense. It's
also the place where I've learned the most. I think if you were to just look at it from what do I do differently now than we did at the beginning. Editing is one of those. It comes with the territory, having to figure out some of that. I think I started with a little bit of an advantage from a complete amateur because having recorded music in the past, I have used the program that we're using to record scratch tracks. But I've also been in the studio enough where I've seen other people do recording, and I've seen the motions of editing tracks and understand a little bit of what the audio files look like. So I didn't start completely from nothing, but I have learned along the way how to, edit some things here and there and make it feel a little cleaner and nicer overall. So that's been fun. And I think another thing that was just interesting to learn was just how we work together. If you've been with us since the beginning, you've probably noticed different interactions and ways of interacting. And especially in the beginning as we were figuring out, okay, how did the two of us sit and record together?
In a physical space also.
Oh yeah, we had to figure out where we were going to actually record. But even in the how we go back and forth, I tend to want to be more scripted and be like, here's my section, here's your section. We used to sit down and I would do all that work and outline it, and I would highlight the names of who was going where, so we just had an idea where we were going because that made sense to me. And you are much the opposite.
Yeah, that didn't quite work for me. Yeah, no. So it would be, she'd have it over, so right now we kind of have, there's a, what is this, a drawer, chest, hope chest thing?
Hope chest, yeah.
With a blanket on it, we got some chairs. there's nothing in front of me. Sometimes it's usually a drink, and then
a bunch of books.
On her side is the computer and the mic in the middle, and on that she has, what's it, just Google Doc?
Yeah, just
scroll down, and she has notes, or, well, at first it was like full paragraphs that she planned to read, and she would write Carissa and like highlight it and says this point, and I don't know, I knew ish what I was going to say, and so I just ignored it all, and it was her job to get me back on track.
Yeah.
Which I have heard some feedback that people enjoy that.
Yeah, people actually seem to like that back and forth of like the facilitated aspect of it with the little like.
I think your parents liked it. It seemed that I'm trolling you sometimes. I think they found that funny.
I think a lot of people like that you troll me on here, and I know that was actually, it's your goal sometimes to try and see if you can break and make me laugh, which is.
I did do that more in the beginning.
You did do that in the beginning, so maybe that'll make a resurgence.
But now you've bullet pointed some more, and I try to follow it more, but I still get completely out of order, but it's good. It's good practice for you.
It is. It keeps it keeps me on my toes, as the saying goes. But I think that's probably something we've both learned along the way that's been fun. It's been frustrating once or twice as we've kind of run into each other's styles and figure out how to do that. I mean, honestly, there was a moment where we were like,
we don't need to talk about that.
Why not? It's funny. Or it's like, is this going to work? Like, how does this work? And how do we meet each other and how we both work best? And so, we've kind of gone in and out of those things, and you've probably seen and heard parts of those over the course of the episodes and series we've released. But I think that's probably one of the things that sticks out that we've learned. And it's just been, just from an enjoyment standpoint, though, it's been really cool to work on something together. It's probably the first joint project like this that we've ever undertaken, at least to this extent. And it's not like a house project or like raising the children.
Yeah.
But I think that's been fun to be able to have like a joint creative endeavor and be able to just do that with you and have something that is ours that we get to work on. It's just been fun. So
another funny thing that'll come up that you'll notice, I don't know how you're going to edit this, probably not this episode, but probably for sure next, is cold opens. So if a lot of y'all listen to podcasts, cold open is just one of my favorite things where it cuts straight into some blooper or nonsense. And so again, kind of how we do is we have to, check the mic levels or whatever and kind of get warmed up. So we just kind of spout nonsense talking. Yeah. And so we started clipping some of those. So this will release next week on the 6th, 5th, whatever, in March.
First weekend of March.
Some Sunday in March. And then the following week or 2 weeks after that, we'll have Mars Hill's reaction podcast. And we'll definitely have a cold open on that. Yeah. Which I'm excited about that. I guess it's a good time to talk about some of the things we have coming up. That one is kind of long. Maybe we should have looked at doing it as a 2-part, but if you haven't listened to Mars Hill, listen to that, and then you'll really I think enjoy our podcast. It does get a little long, but it's just us kind of talking and reacting and flowing. We've had long in the works the 5 solas, the Spirit of the Reformation sola, just meaning alone, like. Yeah. Faith alone, Scripture alone. So that'll be launching later. We actually, and this is cool, I don't think we have the date set, but we are going to have an interview with an author.
Yes, we are. That's
that'll
upcoming.
be Carissa interviewing someone for a book that's going to be released. We've actually, if y'all see these and actually interact with us on any social media, they put these out there. I think we found both these on Twitter.
Yeah.
Where they said, hey, any podcasters, basically 10 years ago, everyone did blog tours when they did book releases. That's how I got into a lot of blogging and book reviews. Now they are putting on Twitter, hey, can I come on at your podcast? We've had 2 people that we've responded to. One kicked us to the publisher who completely completely ghosted us. The second looks like we're going to get them in, and that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. It really extends the whole conversation feel of the podcast too, which is something that we want to branch into. And so this is going to be our first foray into adding another voice into it and being able to focus on a topic that an author has written about. I think the book is releasing in April, so we're going to be targeting doing all of that and getting it out around the release date too. So that's a really fun thing.
A couple other things come up. We're going to do a series on worship at some point, and then kind of 3-part-ish series, roughly. No name for it yet, so if you have any, let us know. Kind of broadly on the church structures, where I'm really excited about this one, but we'll see how the downloads go. But it'll be 3-part on Lord's Supper and communion, the different views of it, the different way people do it, the different access people have to it. Baptism, the same thing, different views, y'all probably heard the doorbell. And then... should we pause it? And we're back. So y'all probably heard the doorbell. That was some of the neighbor girls coming to get our daughter to play. So anyway, back to, so we're doing Lord's Supper and then baptism, the different modes, different views, who gets baptized and why. And then also, maybe really interesting, maybe more interesting to people is church structure, church polity, the way people you have bishops or you have elders, you're congregational led. So I think that'd be I'm excited to get that one done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And, as the year progresses, we'll probably throw in a couple of one-off episodes too. And this is where, if there's a particular topic or something you're seeing being discussed out there in the church or in culture, we'd love to hear some thoughts on what you guys want to hear about, because we'd love to be able to speak into some of those topics, as we're always thinking of topics that we find interesting, that we think are really important for the church and for Christians to be thinking about and learning about. But we also want to make sure that we're doing a lot of topics that would be of interest to you. So let us know if you have suggestions for what things you'd like to see us cover. We've had a couple of those come in over the past year. We've tried to incorporate those ideas as we can into some of what we've already programmed, with like little anecdotes here and there. But we're also curious, as the year goes on, please feel free to send us some thoughts and ideas.
We're also still trying to figure out the structure. I think that's been one of the interesting things is, when we started it, we tried to do every other Sunday, which I think is what we're going back to. And then we had an idea of doing it kind of series, so it'd be like boom, 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 4 or 5 Sundays in a row, then a break or two, then maybe a one-off, and then it seems like consistency is the best, doing it every Sunday, even that means it's a random one-off, or every other Sunday. We're not doing every Sunday. We can't do 50 of these. And then, maybe miss one here or there, but it seems like consistency is best. If you go read people who talk about writing or podcasting, YouTube, any of those things, consistency is the biggest key. So that's, hopefully, it looks like we have 8, 9, 10 weeks set up right now, or no, more than that, like 13, 14 weeks. So, yeah. So if you have thoughts on format, or if you just like having it pop up every Sunday in your feed, because if you haven't subscribed, please do it. And I guess
we really
if
do
you have nothing else, that's a good place to end, is if you like what we're doing, or you think, or if you just want to support us, you don't even have to like it. If you
we hope you like it.
We hope you like it. Rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. It's always annoying when podcasters always say that, but also it is how you get moved up. It's how people find you if you share it with other people.
And we
and
are
then if you subscribe wherever you get podcast, it just pops up every Sunday at like 1:00 American time, right into your feed, right on your phone. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. So do it. Follow Carissa at Carissa Turner on various places. And I don't know I don't understand Instagram. That's another tangent. I got on because I thought there were going to be pictures of things, and now everyone's doing videos. I'm not going to do videos. I'm so confused. You probably won't find me much, but I'm going to try hard for y'all, our audience.
So go in there and troll him, find him. Another thing, too, as you guys are hopefully subscribing and following us, we'd love you to share this with people. If you have a friend or a family member or someone that you know that you think would enjoy what we're doing, we would really, really appreciate it if you'd consider sharing the podcast name with them, share a couple episodes, even consider sharing it on social media. If there's one that you've liked, we'd love to, you can tag us in it, you can share any of the content from the podcast sites and all of that. This year, we're hoping, now that we've made it a year, even though we had a couple months there where we were a little touch and go releasing stuff, we are hoping to make it at least through a year and then see where we are. And so we're going to start promoting it a little bit more and hoping to reach some new audiences. And so as we start doing that, your help would be amazing, and we would so appreciate it. You guys have already been so awesome. And so we just, we invite you to keep joining us as we go into the next year. I think that's where we're going to end. Kevin's looking at me. I think we're done. So, again, thank you so much. Modern Cloister is a year old, and we are so grateful for you to helping us make it happen. We'll see you next time.